Slice and dice is all about bow division. We are going to be chopping up our bows into halves, quarters, and eighths. Depending on the time values of the notes, we need to be using different amounts of bow. This is so we can keep the sound nice and even and stop any notes from sticking out. The longer the note, the more bow in it. The shorter the note, the less bow in it. The longest notes in slice and dice are the whole notes or semi-breves, lasting for 4 beats. If we chop these in half, we get half notes or minims, each lasting 2 beats. Chop these in half and we get quarter notes or crotchets, lasting 1 beat each. And finally chop those in half and we get eighth notes, the quickest notes in the piece, each lasting for half a beat. The aim is to divide the bow as mathematically as possible, getting the proportions just right. Whole bows for whole notes, half the bow for half notes, quarter of the bow for the quarter notes, and an eighth of the bow for the eighth notes. This is a lot harder than it sounds because the violin and the bow are so close to us when we play. It's difficult to judge how much of the bow we are using. Most of the time, we can't quite see the whole thing. If you have a mirror that's wide enough, then it's a great idea to practice in front of it. That way, you can always see the whole bow, so it's much easier to judge the bow divisions. In bar 1, start right at the heel on a down bow and use the lower half of the bow for the half notes. In bar 2, use the lower quarter for the quarter notes. In bar 3, the lower eighth for the eighth notes. And then in bar 4, use the full length of the bow for the whole note, moving all the way from the heel to the tip. For the second line of the piece, we apply exactly the same principle but at the opposite end of the bow. Use the upper eighth in bar 5, the upper quarter in bar 6, the upper half in bar 7, and then the whole bow from the tip to the heel in bar 8. The second half of the piece is the same as the first half, but this time is played on the A and E string instead of the G and D string. Have fun slicing and dicing the bow and making a deliciously consistent sound.